Hi, what's going on guys? It's Almond. Welcome back to another Wizard101 video. In today's video, we're going to be talking about challenge mode taking tree. Now, eventually, I did say in my mother-son challenge mode video that I will be uploading all of them. Just depends on how my schedule works for uploading videos. There's certain things I have to prioritize, certain things I have to work on, etc. But this gives me an opportunity talking about taking tree challenge mode. Very interesting challenge mode, I will say myself. But I'll give you guys all the cheats and everything like that and what we basically used in our runs for challenge mode taking tree. Now, I do want to preface that there's so many different strategies you can do in this fight, but I will only showcasing the strat that we did on stream. Now, I know I could make a million different strategies, but I don't want to just prolong this video into different strategies, where it's like 10 different strats, right, for every single school. Like, I'm not going to do something like that. Now, if people are really requesting it, then I will, but honestly, I don't want to do something like that. If anything, I'll add up on the slides down the line and create different strats for, like, for example, Storm and Fire, Myth, etc. At the moment, I'm just going to only upload the strats that we did on stream for our runs when Selenopolis came out. So I do want to preface this quite a lot in my videos. So if you do enjoy this type of content, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, all type of stuff. Appreciate everyone that's been subscribing. I appreciate everyone that's been joining Discord. Literally, the support has been insane the past month with like the Selenopolis content, everything, the Discord. Like we literally hit 1.1k users in the Discord, and we're slowly on the rise to 1.2. Like it's genuinely insane, man. I appreciate all you guys' support. But let's talk about taking tree, right? Taking tree, you do have to beat 40 times on challenge mode. Now, I do want to preface, this is only for people who are collecting the challenge mode badges for like that gear, right? If you don't know any about that, anything regarding that stuff, watch like the world's first challenge mode, stuff like that. You'll learn a little bit more about it, but you only have to kill them 40 times. I know it sounds like a lot, but honestly, it's not that hard of a fight. So if you see the counter at the bottom when I showcase the images and it shows 40, that is specifically for challenge mode. This is not regarding standard. This is specifically on challenge mode. There's different numbers for if you want to craft stuff and everything like that. Definitely go watch the original standard mode taking tree guide if you care about like crafting and stuff like that. This is for those people who, this video is specifically tailored to the people who care about advanced content and like want to grind out gear and stuff like that. So you want to preface that as well. So taking tree does have a, well, obviously it's him, and then of course he does summon a mob. So let's get into the cheats of taking tree specifically. Now he does have a cheat that doesn't even have like a dialogue, but literally at the start of round he will summon a wandering weed that is a star minion essentially, and he only summons one. So even if you come with like 4 people, 3 people, whatever, it's always going to be one. It's not multiple. He doesn't repeat the cheat multiple times. It's just, I don't know, there's no reason for this, but I guess, yeah, he just comes in at the beginning of round 2, he summons it at round 1. That's a cool cheat, I guess. Also, taking tree does have 30k HP. It's definitely like a bump from what the standard mode HP is, but he does have 30k HP, so keep in mind. Now, realistically, he only has one cheat. In standard, he has Virtue Dies when Truth is Realized, which is like a Dark Pact, like a Regenerate and stuff like that. But he doesn't have that on challenge mode, which I feel like he should, personally. But, I mean, I guess he just only has one cheat. I sat in the fight for multiple rounds on ends. I even tried to get like round 10 and stuff like that, but I've never heard him say Virtue Dies when Truth is Realized. That is specifically only on standard mode. I feel like they should add it to challenge mode, but that's just me. So his initial cheat that he uses a lot is take this and I'll take that. Basically, the TLDR, without having to read the whole paragraph, is he swaps the hanging effects with him and whatever you casted, right? So he'll swap the following with you. So for example, if you blade yourself, right, he will swap the blades and the negative charms with you. So let's say you put like, I don't know, like let's say you put 3-fold fever on him, right? He's gonna swap it to you. Now if you use a blade, he'll swap the blade and the 3-fold fever that you had on yourself to him. And the same thing with shield and traps, same thing with hots and dots. So that's the basic premise. I believe what it was before was slightly altered, but maybe that's just me in my memory, I guess. But I'm definitely on test realm, it felt completely different. But right now, currently in live realm, that's how his mechanic works. So he just swaps blades and negative charms, shields and traps, hots and dots. He has nothing to do with auras or bubbles. I feel like it would have been kind of nice for him to like steal auras. I don't know. Like imagine if he used like reinforce or like frenzy, and he's just like, nope, I'll take that. I don't know. I feel like it would be a cool little mechanic. And then if you use insinuate on him, he just swaps it to you. Very interesting. I don't know. It'd be very interesting to see. So That's just my basic premise behind what his cheat does. So it's just, yeah, blades and negative charms, shields and traps, and hots and dots. That's realistically his whole cheat. That's his whole gimmick, and that's realistically it. He doesn't have anything that's like very, very like notable in his deck that's like, oh my god, you need to worry about this. Other than that, like, he's a pretty straightforward fight. I honestly, I feel like people can even probably solo Taking Tree. I'm just being honest, right? It's realistically one of the easiest challenge modes. I think it's definitely easier than Mother Sun now. Mother Sun was easier when you were able to use dots in test realm, but now it's like you have to hit Mother Sun every round. So you can probably still solo Mother Sun. It's going to take a little bit more effort, but Taking Tree you can definitely solo if you wanted to. Requires a little bit more knowledge and knowing how to like cycle, etc. But if you wanted to, you can definitely solo Taking Tree, if I say so myself. So there's that. But that's basically the whole gimmick of Taking Tree. Now, there is a minion. Now, I do want to talk about this minion. Usually, I don't always talk about minions in my challenge mode videos, but I've been doing that more recently because they have like notable cards that will affect your fight. So let's talk about the minion, the Wandering Weed. The Wandering Weed does have like about 9k, right? It's 8.9, but like round up, 9k HP, right? There is no notable cheats, right? There's no cheats. They won't like mid-cast anything like that. But they do have some pretty quirky cards that can affect your fight, right? And not many people realize that at all. So the one card that it has in its deck is called Impede, meaning you can't gain pips for 4 rounds. So if you're not managing your pips wisely in this fight, and then this minion casts it on you or your support, and you know that causes you to chalk your run or like delay yourself for 4 rounds and stuff like that, yeah, you can't gain pips for 4 rounds. So good luck with that. It's a very annoying card. But hey, I'm glad to see it being used on a mob, not gonna lie. The next interesting thing that this Taking Tree has is Sugar Rush. Now, it's not that notable, right? Like, if it does, it's not the worst thing in the world. But I still want to clarify that Sugar Rush, it can still be annoying just because, yes, he does gain like 5 pip instantly. And yeah, he doesn't gain anything for the next 4 rounds. But he can still use like Power Nova and Wrath of Zeus. That's the whole point where I feel like, okay, well, maybe I should include Sugar Rush in this guide, because like if he does do it, be wary of him having like a crap ton of pips and he uses like Wrath of Zeus or Power Nova. Power Nova doesn't have any, like, it's not the weakness variation or anything like that. It's just a straight up just Power Nova, but it's just a star variation. It's a star damage, right? But the Wrath of Zeus is a little bit annoying because you would think that it does a storm bubble, but it actually does a star bubble. The effect of the bubble looks storm, but looking further into it and inspecting it and checking the bubble, it's actually star bubble. So you don't get any sort of benefit from this. So be wary if you are using a bubble strat, which we are talking about, that hey, if he uses Wrath of Zeus, be wary to make sure you swap the bubble. It will look like a storm bubble, but the effects of it is still a star. So hopefully, you know, in the future, just like how we have a shadow bubble in the game now, I feel like they should do like a separate animation for star, sun, and moon bubbles, just so the player can realize, hey, these are different bubbles. They're not exactly the same. If they want to include them into cheats and stuff like that, I feel like it would help visually. If they don't know what the actual card is going to be, right? The only reason we know these cards are existing is because they also cast them on standard mode, the Wrath of Zeus especially. So that's how we know these little things as a player. So keep that in mind. But other than that, the Wandering Reed doesn't have anything that's like more notable than that. I feel like the Power Nova I did want to talk about just because, hey, it does a lot of damage, right? Like, of course, if you hit like your resist and stuff like that, you're not too much of a worry. But I do want to mention that it does exist, so people don't get confused if it's path B or not. It's just path A. And then Wrath of Zeus specifically because, hey, if you are using a storm hitter and you don't realize the bubble switch, that can affect your strat. And then the Impede is annoying because, dude, like if you get hit with Impede, it does affect who's hitting with what, etc. So there's that. Now that we got all the cheats and like the notable cards and everything like that, let's actually talk about the strategy that we used on stream, of course. Now the strategy we used was 2 storm hitters. Now reason being is because I was on my storm and I wanted to get the badges on my storm, and then Edak is notable for playing on his storm because, hey, he goes for leaderboard badges on his storm. Same thing with Dream. Dream is usually on his balance, and then of course he had his other character as well. But the strat was tailored towards that, right? You still can use storm hitters. You can use myth hitters if you want. It just would, you just have to adjust the rounds accordingly, adjust the buffs accordingly, etc., which is very doable, not too hard. So we used Intinuate and being able to use Storm Bubbles. So our support actually was using a Donate Power Amulet, which you can get in the Bazaar. So before people say this is unattainable, this is not a realistic strat, it honestly is, because you can get these amulets from the Bazaar, and that's what we use to our advantage. There's a amulet in the Bazaar that gives you a Donate Power that gives you 3 pips. So yeah, so if you didn't know that existed, that, well, now that's a thing. So that's always been a thing. It's just not many people used it to their advantage. So having a person that has Donate Power, and then on top of that having Donate Power trained, which you can, anybody can train Donate Power from the balance school. So using that, and then having 2 Storm Bubbles that have Triangle Jewels, which is very easy to obtain, right? And just by crafting jewels, not that hard to do. Or, you know, even the support can realistically be a storm that has balance mastery. I'm gonna be honest. You can just get Donate Power 3 from like a socketed jewel. It's not too difficult either. You can have it from a jewel as well. So if you can, technically the second person can be a balance with the storm mastery, or vice versa, a storm with balance mastery. I do want to preface that. But realistically, it's just Donate Power spam, hit with Storm Owls, do a bunch of damage to taking tree, and then, you know, once we get to the round 4 portion of the strat, we have King Art / Triton. A lot of people thought that the strat was just specifically Triton. No, the reason why we have King Art on there is because if you don't get hit with Impede from the minion, you use King Art. But if you do, you want to be using Triton. And sometimes if you don't crit and stuff like that, that Triton won't kill. So it's not always a guaranteed Triton. If you have King Art, then, you know, you're completely fine. But if you get hit with an Impede, you have to hit with Triton, and, you know, that slightly adjusts what you do. So that's part of that. And then basically on the last round, same premise. Depending if you got impeded, depending if you use lightning bats, etc., you either hit with the King Art or a Triton. Just depends on what you have in your hand, what's your pips looking like, and that's about it. Now with this strat is we don't use any hanging effects that per se, like our blades, shields, traps, right? We use that stuff once taking tree's dead. Just because, like, hey, you can use hanging effects. Now I will say there's a lot of strats out there that use hanging effects, and that's completely fine. But I didn't want to use it because I don't think I want to hear his cheat every 2 minutes, and reminding me of his cheat, it will kind of get annoying, especially for trying to do this 40 times just to get some challenge mode badges done, right? To try to aim for that gear. You know, you can use the strats that have hanging effects. That is completely fine. I've seen people go for like some turmoil oni stuff. I've seen people go for just spam AoEs in this fight. You can do anything you like, guys. You can do anything you like. You guys can do any of those strats where it's just like aura spam, AoE spam, spam 3-folds and then go for an oni, whatever you like, right? But this is just what we used, right? And this is more of like a coordinated team. Of course, I know some people are joining team up on challenge mode, and that's okay, right? That's very interesting to see. Usually I've never seen people on team up for challenge mode. The last time we've seen people on team up for challenge mode is literally when the Nightmare Dungeon came out and there was like the whole world's first race, right? But beyond that, no one's been ever on team up for challenge mode, not to my knowledge. So it's very interesting to see people on challenge mode team ups, especially on the kiosk and everything like that. So if you're doing stuff like that, it's just coordinating buffs, of course. You can realistically use any hitter, as I specified. It doesn't have to be storm hitters. You just use storm hitters. You can just adjust whatever to accordingly. If people really want me to make more strats of taking tree because, you know, hey, they don't have the ability to make this setup, which I'm not gonna lie, guys, it's a very easy setup, especially if you have like a balance. Like, yes, the second person does have to be a balance or a storm, but like, hey, it's really not that bad, I'll be honest with you. But at least you don't have to deal with the animations. But if people really want me to make like a turmoil oni strat and just like post it in the guide, or you know, making a strat where it's like myth hitters and stuff like that, I can, but it's not a priority right now. I just wanted to post out this video because people were really wondering what we used in taking trees. So I was like, you know what, I might as well just post it just to post it, and people can learn something from the cheats, or learn just in general how the fight works and create your own strat, right? But I'm only going to be posting the storm strat because that's what we did, and very straightforward. So that's the whole gimmick behind this fight. It was very straightforward. Just literally kill taking tree and then kill the minion, right? Buff stack, kill the minion. Very straightforward of a fight. And most people are going to be farming this because they want the wands. Yeah, the wands are literally equivalent to Reaver, but I know some people just don't want to do the Nightmare Dungeon, which I don't blame you for. I've done it multiple times, and I'm going to have to do another 50 times on challenge mode eventually, which I'm not looking forward to, but eventually I will have to do it another 50 times, and that will be fun. right? So that's realistically all you're farming Taken Tree for, other than like maybe Circle Jewels if you just didn't do it in Wallaroo, and or just challenge mode stuff, or just in general just badges, right? So there's that. But that is it for the video, guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, learned something new, and gave you guys an idea of how the cheats work in this fight, because I believe at the moment the wiki doesn't have cheats, and this kind of gives the wiki people an idea of what to write. Obviously I can write on the wiki too myself, but I generally just don't have the time. I'd rather just post videos and then they can just take care of it, and people can understand what the fight mechanics are and such like that. So there's that. But leave a like, subscribe, all that type of stuff. More videos, more challenge mode videos, more weaving videos, and then people have even put suggestions in the Discord. So if you guys want to see a certain video on the channel, definitely join the Discord. There's a tab where like you can put like your suggestions of what stuff you want to see on the channel, and people have been giving me plenty of suggestions. So I appreciate all you guys that are watching the videos and everything like that. So there's that. But I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Peace out, guys.